Hey YouTube, today I wanted to talk about something that is my first time doing, and I consider this to be more of a fun project than anything else. I just think that talking about LoL esports, specifically about NA League of Legends, is something that I feel like I've wanted to do for a while. It feels like, I don't know, it just feels like one of those things that you always wanted to do, but you never really got to do it, or just felt like there was always a reason not to do it. But either way, besides my own personal feelings, I really wanted to talk about three teams that have, made roster changes already, and I'm sure that there's going to be more because it feels like everyone wants to make roster changes. But I guess we'll end up seeing what they'll do. Of course, I'll also give my input as to what I think they should have done, or if I like it or not, etc., etc. So, the first thing I really wanted to talk about was Disguised. Now, Disguised, the whole narrative, with these guys is that they have to fight for their spot by the end of the year. Now, this is something I don't really like it personally. I really hate. I understand why they decided to import players, I guess. But it just feels so weird to me that this team actually decided to do that, because it feels like the narrative I was sold on with guest slots was having a team that was filled with second tier talent, or up and coming talent who were fighting it out in tier 1 to prove their worth. Now, there was some talent here, I guess, technically, that are here to prove themselves, which is Scaryjerry. But it's funny because he was the first one to go, or the first announcement of how they would be releasing Scaryjerry, or not releasing it, but they would be benching him, right? And they're going to be bringing in Rahel. Now, I saw a little bit of Rahel in the LEC, and I thought that he was probably the best player on that team, on the SK. And for some reason, they decided to, move away and not play Rahel anymore because they wanted to bring in Kadui. Now, Kadui looked pretty good too. He looked solid. But I think Rahel, just talent-wise, looked better, at least to me. Now, you can, have your own opinion on that aspect, but I think Rahel was actually, terms of talent-wise, probably one of the better ADCs in the region. So, he's probably going to be just better than Scaryjerry. Now, the thing is, I think Scaryjerry was really bad at the beginning of the year, but it did look like he was slowly improving throughout the year, so I don't know. Things like this just boggles my mind when you would go with this, because you see a player that is actually improving throughout the course of time, but just say F him because he's a rookie, and let's import. It just, to me, it's very lazy, right? Now, I don't mind import. Let me get this straight. I don't mind imports. It's just, it feels like a lot of orgs don't actually know how to use imports, or don't know what they're doing. They either import the players that are way past their prime, there's no actual upside to them, or they bring in imports who just don't really bring anything new, right? It just feels like they're not really thinking about it. They just want to import for the sake of importing. Now, Rahel, I don't really mind because I think he's talented. Oops. I think that he has a lot of talent, so I'm willing to give him the chance. Right. It sucks for Scaryjerry. I think that he shouldn't actually, he should just keep playing with him. And if they wanted to import, probably import somebody else, somewhere else. But that being said, now they have they already have an import in Castle. It makes sense to keep Castle just because it feels like he's one of the highlights of the team, and it feels like he's always in a neutral or positive spot throughout the games. So yeah, I have a high opinion in Castle. I don't think he's the most talented, but I do think that there's definitely upside to him, and it feels tough to really get a hold of his actual level because of, well, he's been on the worst NA team for the past year and a half now, because he was on Immortals last year and his team was trash. So I don't know, I feel bad for him honestly, but I mean, that's just the way it goes sometimes, man. Also, I don't know if they're going to be keeping XU. I think that XU is somebody who would probably do better with a different mid laner besides Abadage. I think Abadage was absolutely terrible. And speaking of him, I did see that he is now going to be on SK, which is kind of funny that we kind of traded players here. But I don't know why you would take Abadage in this day and age. Like, it is so weird. I don't know. I think Abadage just has the best agent out there, man. Like, Abadage is just not it anymore, honestly. Like, if you wanted him in a tier 2 project, like, in order to be like a veteran presence within a team, that would make some sense. But like, he is not tier 1 caliber, in my opinion. It's just weird. But hopefully he probably would and will end up getting replaced by an NA talent. The first name that really comes to mind is Toasty. Toasty is like the next big mid laner coming up for NA. Like, he just is straight up. Even though there was a lot of complications with his team, who was, you know, a trash org who was trying to scam some players, and so Toasty couldn't actually end up playing in tier 2 in the last split, which is just like, how? Like, it baffles me. But yeah, that's just NA League of Legends, man. Lowly sports, tough place. But honestly, I did hear that there is some buyout issues. I don't know if that's gonna end up happening. So yeah, I think first choice would be try to get Toasty. Toasty is 19, I think, right now, and I did see that he was in Korea boot camping. So I don't know what's gonna actually end up happening with him. If you can't get Toasty, I would probably end up going with honestly, I would try to get Darkwings. I think Darkwings was very impressive this last split, and feels like he is growing into a place where he feels very consistent, and it feels like he's able to really bring out his expertise in mages. But obviously, I think Darkwings is still a bit of a gamble, because you never know with players, right? Like, especially like newer or players who haven't played a tier 1, like what their actual level is going to look like. But I do think that the best option is still Insanity. Like, I think Insanity is still really, really freaking good. Like, this guy, I don't know, he should be in tier 2. He should have been on this DSG roster to begin with, in my opinion. He would have been such a good piece to have on your team, and then build up good pieces around him. Like, I just think Insanity was such a good option, and the fact that you took Abadage over him feels so disgusting to me. I don't know. But, you know, GMs, what are you going to do about it? So with that being the case, the roster ended up looking like Castle, XU. I think, in my opinion, it should be either Toasty or Insanity, Rahel, and then Huhi. But then I do think that there's a chance, in my opinion, that 100 Thieves might be letting go of Ayla. Just because it feels like that team needs some type of, you know, mid-game voice to actually help them close out games. So I think that there's a chance that 100 Thieves lets go of Ayla, and if that's the case, just pick up Ayla, because I think Ayla right now is better than Huhi. So yeah, and I would keep Huhi. Honestly, try to keep Huhi as some type of coach, because I think he is really, really smart about the game. Obviously, a very, you know, veteran player, and honestly, having him on your team would be pretty good. So I don't know. That's just an option, of course. But yeah, next team I wanted to talk about was Dignitas. Dignitas is Dignitas. Oh boy, this team is very, very weird. It feels, I don't know. They're like not the worst, but like they're also like never actually good. Like, sometimes they are like, they show sparks of being a decent team or a good team, and I don't know, it just ends up falling flat very quickly. But this past split, I was pretty actually kind of impressed with them because it felt like they brought in SRTTY, brought in Shaden, players who definitely have really good upside, but it's just a matter of giving them the time and the time to actually shine in tier one. So yeah, I feel really bad for SRTTY because he is the first player on this team to be let go. And they're bringing in Photon, who I think is a very stable player. I don't think he's actually like that special, but I do think that he's a solid piece to have on a team where other pieces who might have more firepower, just let them do their thing, and he can be a rock in the top lane. So I don't know, man. I feel bad for SRTTY because, I mean, this team ended up being sixth despite everything, despite all the trouble along the way, all the problems that it felt like. I don't know. This team felt like it was going to end up like crashing down in like seventh place, but beating Lyon the way they did, I think. I don't know. And then, like, how do you bringing a rookie go sixth, but then not give him another shot? Excuse me. It feels very, very weird to me. But yeah, I know a lot of people probably hate SRTTY just because of the way that he came up, or the way that he became popular was because he was somebody who played a lot of ranged champions in the top lane in solo queue, and really kind of abused solo queue, right, in order to make himself look better, I guess. I know a lot of people hate him for that, but like, I mean, you got to do what you got to do to make yourself stand out. Like, I'm never gonna blame a player, especially because you gotta stand out in any way you can in order to get actually picked up and given a shot, which SRTTY was. Because of it, he was given a shot, right, in tier one, and I still think that he should have given more time, but I guess it is what it is. So the only other thing, that's all we have for now. I do think that they should probably change Kaney, or yeah, I would change Kaney just because it feels like Kaney wasn't bad, but he also felt, I don't know, he doesn't feel like he's good enough to actually push your roster to the next level. He's like decent, you know? He's the type of player who would like absolutely shine in like Brazil. Like if Kaney went to Brazil, he'd be like the best mid laner. Like at least top 2 mid laners in that region. But I think mid lane's a bit stacked in NA right now, which is not something that's very common. So yeah. I don't know. I like Kaney though. I do think that he's solid. I just don't think he has the firepower to really push this roster to the next level, and so I would actually look for a different import. Go with Zinni. Like if Dignitas is gonna be this type of team, just, you know, throw out the wallet, man. Bring in Zinni. F it. Like you have Shaden, really good jungler. He's shown it already. I think Shaden is an incredible prospect. Honestly, he really impressed me this past split in terms of his growth. So yeah, and I think Tomo, I think mechanically he isn't the best, and I don't think he really has what it takes to actually be the best, which is really tragic, because I think the way that he plays the game is really nice to see, because it feels like he tries to output as much as he possibly can, but you know, obviously mechanically he just can't keep up. So I don't know. Otherwise, I do think that he's kind of clutch. Like it doesn't seem like he will just, you know, like just fall flat on his head and not do anything when it matters. So yeah, a bit tragic. I don't know who you would replace Tomo with. I think you try to give maybe Sajid a shot, maybe, but going into the summer season, I don't know if you, like, before Worlds, I don't know if that's the type of angle you want to take. Maybe if it was like before, like if it was like before the beginning of next year, maybe you try to look for an upcoming prospect and put him there instead of Tomo. Then maybe that would be the the thing to do. I think Isles is very serviceable, which is always a good thing to have. I mean, support is a difficult like position to look for in this era, in this time, because supports a lot of the time are either really really bad or they're kind of mediocre. And I think Isles has some flashes of good like gameplay, but otherwise is just all right, which is good. Honestly, like I said, support is it's tough. It's tough to look good. It's tough to look for. So yeah. Anyways, the next team is Lyon, which is the newest org here. The LATAM representatives. I think that this team honestly surprised me in a good way. I think that they were a lot better than what I thought. Honestly, I think that they won't really get the because it felt like a lot of people said that they were just gonna straight up be last just because they were from LATAM. Like they were giving zero. They were being given zero credit at all. So I think they definitely surprised in a lot of good ways. They never were capable of getting past a certain line. Like they were never like good enough to really contest top teams, but it felt like they were kind of close to being there. So hopefully with their newest roster change, they might end up actually doing it, which is letting go of Licorice and bringing in Zamudo, who is probably the best prospect in the top lane for the last couple of years. And yeah, I think Zamudo is freaking cracked out of his mind. I think this guy he's one of those players who is a weird player, but like he makes it very tough to play against. He feels like Bwipo in a way, but at the same time more diverse, even, like I don't know. I think Zamudo is cracked. Zamudo is definitely the type of player who I was expecting to come in onto like TL in the future, to replace Impact, but I guess he's going to Lyon, which is insane. I mean, good on Lyon. It feels like they're just making, good moves after good moves. I don't know. They brought in Saint, who's cracked. Obviously, he wasn't as impressive as, or he didn't give off the same output as like Loki at the end of the split. But I mean, I can't really blame Saint because it feels like C9's infrastructure just set up Loki way better than it did Saint, in my opinion. So yeah, I don't know. Saint is really really talented though. So I definitely think he can be a top 3 mid laner easily in the upcoming future. And Zamudo is somebody who I think can definitely compete. At right now, he has the potential to be the best top laner, right? I don't know what type of form he's going to show during summer, but I don't know. I'm rooting for him. And I thought that they were going to make another roster change because it felt like they were complaining about, team dynamics, where it felt like there was a toxic environment going on. And I thought that it was because of Henna, in my opinion, because Henna I don't see Saint being toxic simply because he's a rookie and he's much younger than the other guys. But Henna is like obviously much older, a veteran like Korean player who are, in the past have had tendencies to be much more toxic because, the rest of the team isn't living up to a certain standard, I suppose. But even then, if you're in a team environment, it doesn't and you are, quote unquote decent at your role, it doesn't give you, it isn't an excuse to be toxic, which I just thought it was Henna, because it can't be Audi obviously, and it can't be Leon's because these two are played together before and it never felt like an actual issue. And Licorice has never had those type of issues, or it feels like no one has actually had those type of issues with them. So I don't know what's gonna happen with that. So maybe there will end up being another roster change, but I guess we'll end up seeing, right? So yeah, that's it for now. Honestly, I just really wanted to talk about I want to talk about teams as they end up making roster changes and what I think about it. And so yeah, this is mostly me just ranting a lot, and it's not really scripted or anything like that, so forgive me if I end up stuttering quite a bit. So yeah, I that's it. It's cool. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. And please give a like, subscribe, because I do want to end up doing this more often when news comes out. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.